Hey guys, Mega Scatterbomb here. I wanted to weigh in on the whole DMCA situation going on with Valve and a couple community projects. While it is sad to see two projects led by passionate individuals fall victim to legal troubles, I think the community's reaction has been overblown. A lot of people have drawn comparisons to OG Valve, looking at the history of many of Valve's games that were once mods. Dota, Counter-Strike, and of course Team Fortress. I think these comparisons misrepresent what's actually happening here, and I wanted to make the distinction between what happened then and what's happening now. For those out of the loop, what happened was two open source community projects were taken down from GitHub because Valve reached out to the managers of those projects. First up, Team Fortress Source 2. This project, and all of its forks, were issued a DMCA copyright infringement notice, which basically means take down your stuff or we'll sue you. This DMCA request was sent to GitHub, the code repository site, where GitHub then took action and removed the project. Team Fortress Source 2 was built upon Sandbox, the sequel of sorts to Garry's Mod. Sandbox itself is built on Source 2 and relies on the community to build custom game modes for it. You can see a bunch of them listed here. You pick whatever you want to play, and it'll automatically install everything required, custom code, assets, whatever. Unfortunately, in their attempts to create a faithful port of Team Fortress 2, Amper Software, the developers, used assets from Team Fortress 2 itself. This is illegal. Valve is well within their rights to DMCA the developers for this reason alone. Now, you might wonder, why is this prohibited when Garry's Mod uses assets from all of the Source Engine games? This is because Garry's Mod operates under a Source Engine license. Garry's Mod, as a game, is allowed to ship with Half-Life 2 assets, as Gary Newman has a Source Engine license granting him permission to do so. In addition, assets from other Valve titles are mounted, not included. So if I want to use Counter-Strike Source assets in Garry's Mod, I need to install Counter-Strike and mount it within Garry's Mod. Then, instead of missing textures, Garry's Mod will pull the textures directly from my legal copy of Counter-Strike. The other project that's been taken down is Portal 64, a port of Portal to the Nintendo 64. Now already alarm bells should be ringing. I just said the N-word. Nintendo is incredibly litigious. Google Gary Bowser if you want a taste of their wrath. However, this isn't Nintendo's doing, this is Valve's, right? Well, wrong, actually. Portal 64 was not DMCA'd. If it was, this archive containing all DMCA requests sent to GitHub would have two DMCAs, one for TF Source 2 and one for Portal 64. But this isn't what happened. What actually happened was that Valve contacted the developer of Portal 64 and advised him that, because he was using official Nintendo libraries to create Portal 64, he may end up in legal trouble from Nintendo. There was no legal compulsion from Valve to remove the project. The only motivation was the legal threat posed by the use of Nintendo's code libraries. Technically speaking, the creator could have ignored Valve on this matter, but Valve, the creator, and all of us know that trying to beat Nintendo at the copyright game is a lost cause. Valve has historically been built on the work of talented modders. Counter-Strike and Team Fortress were mods for Half-Life and Quake respectively. The modders' careers skyrocketed as Valve hired them to turn their mods into official products. This whole DMCA situation has led many of you to think, the OG Valve is gone, now they're big evil corporation, we're doomed. Now modern day Valve isn't the best, I agree. Just look at the state of Team Fortress 2. But to claim they aren't modding friendly just because they took down a couple mods that overstepped the boundaries is insane. Counter-Strike and Team Fortress were both built on top of their respective base games. You needed the base game so the mod could utilize their assets. Team Fortress Source 2 violated that principle and faced the consequences. To add insult to injury, the project was already close to dead anyway. Sandbox is still in a developer preview state, so the code behind it is constantly changing, and thus a lot of the code Amper Software wrote is now obsolete, and they do not have the motivation to completely rewrite it. In the end, the project would have likely suffered the same fate anyway. Portal 64 did not fall victim to Valve's hammer, as all the assets and code were completely redone to run on the Nintendo 64's limited hardware. However, the risk of Nintendo stepping in because their libraries were being used was too great for the creator to risk, so he chose to remove them. So what does that make Valve? In my eyes, Valve chose to let the creator know of the legal risks posed by their creation. If a random member of the public advised the creator in this manner, they would be respected for doing so. And I don't see why Valve shouldn't receive that same respect for looking out for the small guy. Granted, Valve probably doesn't want to get tangled in that suit themselves, since it's a port of one of their games, but on the whole, I don't see how they can be perceived as the bad guy in this situation. If you want to direct your hate somewhere, direct it at Nintendo. I recently played Portal Revolution, a mod for Portal 2 that introduces a custom campaign with 40 new puzzles. Very well done mod, by the way. The puzzles are very approachable, the art passing is fantastic, and I had a good time. The only negative thing is that I think it ended a bit suddenly. But other than that, very good. I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Now this mod came out less than a week ago, and it was launched on Steam itself. How could Valve be more mod-friendly than letting the mods for their games be launched on Steam itself? And even if it isn't on Steam, a lot of the mods go directly into the Steam app's source mods folder, which makes the mod appear in your Steam library like any other game. That's something Valve implemented for the modders. Nothing we've seen from Valve lately changes our ability to make or install mods the way we always have. I know the way Valve treats a lot of their titles leaves a lot to be desired, but that isn't an excuse to let nostalgia and emotion trump logic when reacting to their decisions, especially those in the legal realm. The only aspect of this situation I may have an issue with is whatever Tyler McVicker hinted at within his video covering the situation. Unfortunately, he cut that segment of the video as he felt he explained the situation poorly, so we need to read this follow-up community post instead. The TLDR is that some community project related to Team Fortress 2 had a video of theirs taken down via copyright strike, and that the strike did come from Valve and not someone impersonating them like that one time with Bungie. Tyler did not name the project out of fear of further repercussions for said project. There isn't any further publicly available context on why Valve struck that particular video or what the nature of the project is, so I'm going to withhold any analysis on that issue until there's more to discuss. That's all I have to say on the matter. In my opinion, y'all are overreacting, and no, Mega Anti-Cheat will not be impacted by this. It interacts with the base game, like every other mod for TF2, and it's a non-commercial product, so we're fully in the clear.